What if tomorrow morning, gravity didn't just pull you down, it slammed you down? Imagine waking up, trying to get out of bed, and realizing your body weighs twice as much as it did yesterday. You'd struggle to lift your head, your phone would feel like a brick, and walking to the kitchen would be like hiking Everest with a backpack full of lead. Because in this nightmare world, gravity just doubled, from 9.8 to 19.6 meters per second squared. So how is this even possible? Let's start with the math. The force of gravity depends on mass and radius. If the Earth's radius stays the same, then to double its gravity, the planet's mass must also double. That means Earth's total mass would jump from a staggering 6 sextillion kilograms to 12 sextillion kilograms. It's like packing another entire Earth inside our existing one. To achieve this, the planet's core would need to become absurdly dense, with its iron and nickel atoms squeezed tighter than ever before. Temperatures would skyrocket, and the pressure near the center could reach over 1 trillion pascals, a force so immense it would melt and completely reshape the core's structure, turning our planet into a ticking time bomb. And what about us, the fragile humans living on its surface? Well, every single object, from your coffee mug to your own heart, suddenly weighs twice as much. Your muscles, evolved for a 1G world, simply aren't built for that. You'd struggle to lift even the smallest objects. Jumping? Forget it. You'd barely leave the ground. Running would feel like trying to sprint through thick syrup. Your spine would compress under the new weight, your joints would ache constantly, and within hours, most people would simply collapse from sheer exhaustion. But the real killer? It's inside your chest. Your heart already fights a constant battle against gravity to pump blood up to your brain. With double the gravity, that struggle doubles too. Blood would pool in your legs, the pressure in your veins would spike, and for many, the strain would be too much. Widespread fainting and cardiovascular failure would become a grim reality. It's not just humans either. Nature would take a devastating hit. Tall trees like ancient redwoods wouldn't survive. Their internal water transport systems rely on capillary pressure, and with double gravity, water simply can't rise high enough to nourish their tops. Entire forests would collapse, giving way to smaller, denser, more compact plant life. Animals would need to evolve shorter, sturdier forms, assuming they survived the initial shock at all. Birds would be grounded instantly, their wings powerless against twice the gravitational pull. They would simply fall from the sky. And fish? They'd be okay for a little while as water cushions the effect. But even they would eventually suffer as immense pressure changes and chaotic tidal shifts rewrite the rules of the ocean. Now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The Earth itself would start to buckle under its own doubled weight. The crust would be compressed, causing mountains to literally sink. Tectonic plates would grind against each other with unimaginable force, triggering catastrophic earthquakes all over the globe. The atmosphere would shrink too, with denser air piling up near the surface, doubling air pressure. It would feel like breathing on a planet twice as thick. While oxygen molecules would be closer together, your lungs would have to work much harder just to inhale. Weather patterns would be thrown into chaos. Heavier air, slower winds, but more violent, crushing storms. And the oceans? With twice the gravity pulling them down, they would press deeper into the crust. Sea levels would drop in some areas and rise catastrophically in others, carving out entirely new coastlines and flooding cities. Our cosmic neighbors wouldn't escape the chaos either. The moon, balanced in a delicate dance between Earth's pull and its own momentum, would be dragged inward. Its orbit would begin to decay, spiraling closer and closer. Eventually, it could even be torn apart by the intensified tidal forces, forming a glowing ring of debris around our doomed planet. What about our technology? All our satellites would fall out of orbit within days. The International Space Station would plummet through the atmosphere like a magnificent, tragic shooting star. Low Earth orbit would become impossible to maintain. And launching rockets? They'd need twice the thrust just to break free from the surface. Space exploration as we know it would be over, forever, within a few weeks. Life on the surface would be almost entirely wiped out. Human civilization, if it even lasted that long, would retreat into underground bunkers or pressure-controlled domes. The hyperdense core might trigger new, erratic magnetic field patterns or even unleash supervolcanic eruptions that would blacken the sky. Double gravity means more weight, more pressure, and more chaos. In short, life as we know it would end. So the next time you drop something and curse gravity, just take a moment. Remember, it could always pull a lot harder. Be thankful it's just 9.8. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this thought experiment, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more what-if scenarios. See you next time.